Hello and welcome to Tour Obscure, and today we are in Worksop, a very wet and windy Worksop, and today we've come to Central Avenue to have a look at what was the home of the fourth oldest football club in the world. Worksop Town FC used to play at this very site, and they faced the likes of Bradford City and Coventry City and actually beaten them on this site. But unfortunately the club were evicted in 1989. But there is still some remains, so we're going to have a little look round and see what we can find. So I'll be really honest, I wasn't meant to be here today. I was all set to go to Castleford today. Unfortunately, a train got cancelled and that didn't quite fit in with my other plans for the rest of the day. So I was quickly panicking on Google Maps, trying to have a look where I could go, what's interesting, what I can find. And as I was scanning around Worksop, I had a look at this old football ground, and I did notice this right in the corner. And it looks like some old terracing. So I thought, I'm going to have to come and check that out. And I've matched it up with this image, and as you can see, but the stand behind the goal actually comes at an angle, just like you can see from the Google Maps image. So I do think that might be the remains of this football ground. So we're going to go over there and have a look if that's what it is. So I've just found the perfect spot on top of a part of the multi-storey car park for the Priory shopping centre. So this gives a full view of the ground as it is now. So a little tiny bit of this stadium was sold off for development, and that's what become the shopping centre. So part of that road there would have probably been some terracing, the open terracing you can see in this photo. But then just over here would have been the canal end. And over there would have been the Ryton end. And then obviously, as you can see from the pictures, there wasn't any spectator facilities on that side of the ground. It was co-owned by the cricket club, so that was just open. So just as we come around the corner, this would have been part of the Ryton end, and this was just a small uncovered terrace. And I don't really know how we're going to get onto this section here, because it's all fenced off, so we're going to have to cross that river somewhere. That looks like a bridge over there. We'll head over there and see if we can get access to the site itself. So we have managed to get to the other side of the river, and hopefully we can have a wander onto this site, see if there's any remains. So this would have been the Ryton end just here. And this terrace was a mismatch of bits of terracing. So this little portion of concrete here you can see more than likely was part of this old football ground. And potentially that bit of wall there. So we're looking at an angle now quite similar to the photo I'm about to show you, although it's an aerial photo, but it gives you a good idea of what this stadium looked like. So we're currently stood on the open-ended cricket field side, and we're looking into what would have been the former home of Worksop Town. So where we are just now, we're in a very similar position as to where this photo was taken, and we're looking towards the canal end, and this is probably the spot where the small little stand would have been, as you can see in this photo, but that now forms part of this cricket field. So both Worksop Town and the cricket club used to play on Newcastle Avenue until 1901, when they both funded a move to this stadium here on Central Avenue, and Worksop stayed here all the way until 1989. During that time they beat a number of big clubs here, Bradford City being one of them, Coventry City, both in the FA Cup. But there was one game what escaped Central Avenue, and it very nearly happened. So in 1923, Worksop Town were drawn against Tottenham Hotspur in the FA Cup, and they went to White Hart Lane and they got a result. They got a 0-0 draw to force a replay. Now, for whatever reason, the board of directors at Worksop Town decided that they didn't want the replay to be played at Central Avenue. So 2 days later, the game was replayed at White Hart Lane, and unfortunately Worksop lost 9-0. So in hindsight, probably not a great decision, but that game very nearly happened on this site. So as I mentioned earlier, whilst looking on Google Maps, it looks as though a large part of this stadium still exists, and we've just arrived at that site now, and I can indeed tell you, but I do believe this, what I'm looking at now, is part of the former canal end of this ground. Now you will notice the difference from the Google Maps image. It looks as though this scoreboard's been built onto the old terracing since then. But nonetheless, a large part of this terracing still exists. And you can see just there a bit of ironwork in the concrete. That is, I would imagine, part of a crush barrier, what was once on this site. And another one just there. So there's plenty of reminders, but this once looked very different. And it's quite amazing to think that thousands and thousands of people once crammed into here to watch Worksop Town take on the likes of Coventry City and Bradford City, and cheer them on to victory as well. But now the site is very quiet. Half of it part of a shopping centre and the other half belonging to the cricket club. So just on his way back down now, and again you can see what I believe would have been part of the Brighton end. And back up towards the canal end. So unfortunately for Worksop Town, their journey at Central Avenue come to an end in 1989 when they were evicted from this site. Under what circumstances I'm not exactly sure, but they had to go and play their home games for 3 years in Gainsborough before coming back to Worksop in 1992 at the newly built Sandy Lane. Worksop Town remained at Sandy Lane until 2008, when they were again evicted from their home after losing ownership of the stadium in 2005. The Tigers had to play home games at Ilkeston Town, Hucknall Town and Retford United before again returning home in 2011 to Sandy Lane. Worksop Town have a perfectly good home at Sandy Lane, but Central Avenue will always have a special place in the hearts of old school Worksop Town fans.